Hello everybody, Adam Cleary from FourFourTwo here, and the sale of Manchester United might finally, maybe, nearly, almost be nearing some kind of conclusion, possibly. Reports initially emerged that Sheikh Jassim bin Hamad Al Thani, who was definitely a real person by the way, he totally existed and that was all real, he'd withdrawn his bid. So instead of his full takeover of the club, Sir Jim Ratcliffe's partial takeover was nearing completion. But what does any of that mean? Is it good news for Manchester United fans? Is it good news for Manchester United the club? Is it even good news for Manchester United the business? Well, the very short answer is maybe. So first off, Sir Jim Ratcliffe, born in Failsworth, Greater Manchester, is a British billionaire, engineer and chairman of chemical giant INEOS. He's reported to be the second richest man in the UK and his net worth, at last estimate, is of almost £30 billion. He owns FC Lausanne Sport, currently third bottom of the Swiss League, having been relegated in 2022, and OGC Nice, who are currently second in Ligue 1 and got to the quarterfinals of last year's Europa Conference League. He also put something in the region of £4.2 billion up to try and buy Chelsea when Abramovich was hurriedly shredding all its documents, but lost out to Todd Boehly. The proposed new structure would see Ratcliffe take control of sporting decisions immediately. Both him and other representatives from INEOS would take seats on the board, meaning that in matters relating to the actual football, they would have enough influence within the company to basically do as they please. They wouldn't need approval for transfers, sales, investments, firing and appointing managers, scouting, recruitment, development, all the really good stuff from any of the Glazers. Reports are that he has really ambitious plans for this part of the operation and would look to entirely restructure the club with his own hand-picked appointments. Julian Ward and Michael Edwards, two of the men responsible for Liverpool's resurgence in recent years, have been mentioned. Paul Mitchell, the man behind the transfer golden periods of Southampton under Pochettino, Tottenham, also under Pochettino, and more recently RB Leipzig, is said to be their top target. Elsewhere, in the various other roles that all feed into the club's footballing operation, there are rumours of significant outgoings. United Chief Executive Richard Arnold being chief amongst them, with every position likely to see some form of upheaval if Ratcliffe takes control. But here's the thing, right? Ratcliffe might really love his football, I don't think anybody's doubting that, but he's yet to prove he's actually any good at it. In the 6 years before Ratcliffe bought Nice for €100 million, the club finished in the top 4 of Ligue 1 3 times. In the 2016-2017 season, they were top of the table at Christmas, lost just 4 games all season, and very nearly upset PSG to the title. But since his acquisition in 2019, it's been a continuing period of upheaval with no success to show for it. Big money Premier League players like Kasper Schmeichel, Aaron Ramsey, Ross Barkley and Nicolas Pepe have all come and gone without any real impact, and there was, ahead of this season, a growing sense of detachment between the club and its fans. However, at the time of recording, they are second in the table and the only undefeated side in Ligue 1, so it may be starting to finally turn around. There is, of course, the small complication that UEFA does not allow two clubs owned by the same people to play in the same competition, but that's only a problem if he gets control of Manchester United. So is he going to get control of Manchester United? Well, when Ratcliffe initially approached the club, he was looking to buy 51% of it, and he wanted to do so entirely through the stake that the Glazers owned. However, this ultimately fell through because, according to The Athletic, while the non-Glazer members of the board only control 10% of the voting rights, they threatened legal action against the sale because, with Ratcliffe not offering to buy any of their shares, they stood to lose out on a significant financial windfall. This new bid is for a mere 25% of the company and has reportedly been accepted. However, it now has to be approved by the club's board of directors, 12 people who between them control 100% of the company. Now, despite the whole complexities of the structuring, meaning that the Glazers have 90% of the voting power, that counts for nothing at this level, and a majority decision between these 12 individuals must now be reached. Yeah, so in other words, yes, exactly like that final grueling, excruciating scene from Succession. So who are these 12 people? Well, you've got 6 Glazers in there. Avram and Joel operate as co-chairmen of the club and oversee the majority of its business. Kevin Glazer, Darcy Glazer, Edward Glazer, and Brian Glazer are also on the board, but don't really bother themselves with the club, focusing instead on the other concerns within their father's business empire. Brian Glazer runs the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who, I promise you, are a real American football team and not a name I've just made up now because it sounds really American. Kevin Glazer runs Glazer Properties, a primarily American-based real estate firm that owns some of the ugliest buildings you've ever seen in your life. Edward Glazer is the chair of US Property Trust and US Auto Trust, which is exactly as boring as it sounds. And Darcy Glazer spends her time running the Glazer Family Foundation, which is a charitable non-profit dedicated to, and I quote, supporting programs designed to serve disadvantaged youth and families. Which is really great, but when you try and Google a single one of those programs, nothing really comes up. Oh well. Outside of the family, there are 3 positions for senior members of the club staff. The aforementioned Chief Executive Richard Arnold, awkward CFO Cliff Batty, and the club's long-standing legal counsel Patrick Stewart. Annoyingly, if you Google Patrick Stewart Man United, you get this clip from some movie in the 90s, and just apologies, but I'm not able to offer any decent context to that at this time, but I will look it up. Anyway, there's also 3 individuals who between them represent the interests of the numerable minority shareholders who all own a tiny little chunk of the club, and they are a weird group. You've got John Hooks, who's been at the very top of the tree for Ralph Lauren and Giorgio Armani, Manu Swanee, who was the chief executive of the International Cricket Council, and Robert Liato, who works for banking giants Rothschild. If you've never heard of them, they're a bank you need £100,000 just to open an account with. Anyway, Ratcliffe's bid needs the approval of at least 7 of these individuals. In the event of a tie, the casting votes would fall to both Joel and Avram, who are believed to want to push this through, so it's almost certainly going to happen. But, and this is the big question, is that a good thing? Well, that depends on which side of the argument you fall on as a Man United fan. While Ratcliffe might personally represent quite a palatable owner, especially compared to the Qatari investment, the idea of the Glazers remaining involved in such a significant capacity makes it a complete non-starter for big sections of the support. Full sale only banners have been a frequent sight in Manchester United away ends, both in last season and in this. However, to others, the problem isn't necessarily the Glazers themselves. It's that, how can I put this? They're idiots. A collection of incredibly average business people who've found themselves as one of the most powerful families in the world purely by virtue of just inheriting that mantle from their father. They'd probably be fine if they had the first idea what they were doing, or could even admit that they didn't, and Ratcliffe effectively buying that responsibility from them could actually be a really good solution. Plus, and it's all unconfirmed at this stage, but reportedly one of the reasons why Ratcliffe is prepared to take such a small stake in the company now is because it includes some unwritten agreements that he will continue to take further and further control as time goes on. So it certainly isn't a full sale now, but it might end up being one. Well, that's the thing, like every single other element of this takeover, nobody's gonna know until it just happens. Will it go through? What sort of power will he wield? Will he actually be any good at it? Is Ten Hag's job safe? These questions will literally only get answered one at a time, and the very first one comes this week with that board meeting. So yes, Manchester United fans, it looks like all your prayers are finally going to be answered, provided that your prayers were exclusively limited to, dear God, I hope that the Glazers sell a minority stake in Manchester United. I have absolutely no idea what to make of this, so if you are a Manchester United fan, please do let us know in the comments whether this is what you want. Is this a good thing? Do you only want a full sale? Is this fine if it becomes a full sale, but it's bad if it doesn't? Do you like the look of Ratcliffe? Do you think he's a good person for the club? Just anything and everything, please, in the comments below. While you're here, please don't forget to subscribe to 442 while on YouTube. I know I always say this, but it is the one metric that does really, really help us out. Just click that little button, and the more people do that, the better it looks, and then we get nice rounds of applause and handshakes off the people who make the decision. So I would be very grateful if you could do that. And of course, if you fancy it, you can grab me on all the social medias at Adam Cleary, CLERY. The 442 socials there in the corner of the video. Don't forget those. The brand new issue of the mag is like literally 2 days away. Ange Postecoglou on the cover. That's very exciting. And until next time, I'm just going to shut up now. I've been Adam Cleary. That's the Man United situation, and I'll see you soon. Bye.